The introduction of Galactus and Silver Surfer changed everything for Marvel's cosmos, transforming it from a place of goofy, if overpowered aliens to one of unbeatable and otherworldly beings akin to gods, with names acting more like titles than names, like the Collector and Ego, the Living Planet. Space is far more harrowing and far more knowable than ever before. On the heels of Galactus, cosmic entities began to pop up everywhere. The Stranger returns in X-Men number 18 to re-abduct Magneto after he escaped his planet. This appearance also basically serves no purpose. The writers wanted to do a Magneto fight, but they didn't want Magneto back on Earth, so they just had the Stranger show up and re-abduct him. Very boring. Eternity gets a strong showing, though, when he returns in the Doctor Strange half of Strange Tales 146. Despite offering some useless advice in his last appearance, here he fights Dormammu, the big bad that Doctor Strange has been fighting for the last 15 issues, and Eternity wipes the floor with him, crushing Dormammu between two asteroid moon things. Eternity seems to die as well, but he'll be back. This is a big step from everything we've seen before outside Galactus, and even though Eternity was set up earlier to be powerful, it still feels like a mark of the new direction Cosmic Marvel is taking. Over in Avengers number 26, the titular team does battle with the Collector, an enigmatic fellow who wants to kidnap the Avengers to add them to his collection of exotic artifacts. He isn't explicitly alien in this first appearance, but he very much will be. Thor's cosmic arc starts with him battling the fairly banal Rigelians in issue 131. They're just big-headed colonizers, and one wants to conquer the Earth with a hold the planet in place ray so she can become queen of her own colony. Things get more unique, though, in 132, as when Thor ventures to Rigel to stop the hold the planet in place ray, their leader asks Thor for help with something, and in return the Earth will be freed. The Rigelians have their own problems, that their ships keep vanishing into a bioverse, and they want Thor to stop it. Unlike the Skrulls, who are basically just evil aliens with some internal politics, the Rigelians are people with their own wants and needs. Yeah, they want to colonize alien worlds, but they're also willing to negotiate and make deals. They may not be as big as Galactus, but they're being treated just as seriously. What is as big as Galactus, though, is the Bioverse, better known as Ego the Living Planet, a sentient planet that can control every facet of itself and eats people. The art for this fight is incredible, as Thor battles the literal environment, overcoming it only with a godly display of force. Ego concedes and promises to stop eating the Rigelian, so everyone goes home happy. On the return trip, Galactus shows up for a single panel, noting that he's heading towards Ego. This does not get followed up on for 2 whole years, and Galactus' next appearance isn't even in Thor, but it does prove that Marvel wants to use Galactus more. He's a heavy hitter now. Silver Surfer appeared alongside Galactus in Fantastic Four number 50, and he's back with an actual plot in Fantastic Four number 55. He's mostly just chilling, trying to adapt to Earth, when the Thing tries to beat him up for allegedly stealing his girlfriend. Silver Surfer obviously did not steal Thing's girlfriend, and fights to a stalemate. It's not a big space issue, but it does prove 2 very important things. The Silver Surfer is here to stay, and he's his own character with wants and emotions, not a force of nature like Galactus or a one-note villain like the Impossible Man. His next outing proves this even more, when Dr. Doom lures the Surfer to his castle by showing him images of space and pretending to be nice. This is a lie, of course, as Doom instead steals the Surfer's power to fight the Fantastic Four. This fight takes 3 whole issues from 58 to 60, and Doom proves to be an absolute menace before the Four trick him into flying into Galactus' barrier and being instantly KO'd. The Surfer gets his power back, resetting the status quo. Interestingly, this seems to mean that the barrier blocks only Silver Surfer's powered cosmic, not the Surfer himself, so theoretically he could return home if he just stayed depowered. That would never happen, of course, he needs his power that it needs to be stuck, but it is interesting. The Surfer then takes 10 issues off from FF, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. We actually get another brand new alien race in Fantastic Four number 64. The issue opens with 2 scientists investigating a hidden underground base on an island, when they are attacked by, well, something. When the Fantastic Four arrive, they find out what it is, a robotic sentry of the Kree race, kept sleeping for millennia as a lookout on Earth. And the sentry almost beats the Fantastic Four. This is an impressive showing for a new alien race. They've been on Earth over 1,000 years ago, abandoned it, and not only does their 1,000-year-old tech still work, but their guard dog is almost strong enough to beat the Fantastic Four. The Kree are threatening. And next issue, one of their accusers shows up on Earth to try the FF for crimes against the Kree, destroying the sentry that attacked the Fantastic Four first. The accuser, Ronan, teleports the FF into an invisible bubble to execute them, and he has them completely outmatched thanks to his universal weapon that can alter matter. The FF only win by getting Ronan to blast himself with his own weapon, but even then, Ronan escapes to report to his leader, the Supreme Intelligence. As much as the Kree are just another alien race, they're easily the most threatening one. The build-up in the first issue is so good, and Ronan mostly pays it off with how much power he has. These 2 issues do recycle the Silver Surfer Galactus dynamic, the Sentry is the Herald and Ronan is Galactus, except Ronan works for someone even stronger. I think the dynamic works better here too, because Ronan isn't some cosmic entity, he's just law enforcement, and yet he can fight the FF single-handedly. These two issues are so good, and really embody the new threatening cosmos the Marvel Universe has entered into. Not everything is that threatening, though. Thor fights the Super Skrull in Thor number 142, and the Super Skrull tries to regain his honor by conquering Earth. It does not go well for him. The Collector returns in Avengers 51, and he's clearly an alien here, using alien animals to capture the Avengers and mind control Thor. The leap from just some exotic collector to a very dangerous alien feels so natural, like this was always the intent. The Avengers still beat him though, by malfunctioning his own robot. The Hulk then gets dragged into this cosmic nonsense and tails to Astonish 89, where he gets mind controlled by the Stranger. The Stranger no longer wants to kidnap mutants for no reason, but instead to kill humanity before they become a threat to the cosmos. The Stranger's control is immediately broken before Hulk can do any damage, just by Hulk reverting back to Bruce Banner, which segues into a plot about fighting a new gamma-powered monster, Abomination. The Hulk wins in issue 91, and the Stranger shows back up to abduct Abomination like he did Magneto. Earth is safe, I guess. I swear, one day this guy will do something interesting. Silver Surfer then shows up in issue 93, saving Hulk from the military. He thinks they should be fast friends, both being superpowered outcasts. Unfortunately, the Hulk is in a bad place and thinks Silver Surfer is also out to get him, so Hulk attacks. The fight is actually pretty cool, putting Silver Surfer up against an even bigger powerhouse than the Thing. He still wins though, and is bummed that he's an outcast among outcasts. Silver Surfer then gets his own solo story at the end of Fantastic Four Annual number 5, which is pretty much a repeat of the Hulk story. He helps some powerful being in trouble, this time a sentient computer Quasimodo, who then tries to kill Silver Surfer. This time Quasimodo is straight up evil, but Silver Surfer just learns time and again that humanity is absolutely the worst, and they will tear each other apart at any opportunity. This comes to a head in Fantastic Four number 72, where Silver Surfer goes around destroying famous landmarks to try and unite the human race against him and usher in an era of peace. It predictably doesn't work, but it's an interesting way to take his character. He's the only one who could do this too, given he's basically a god. And then his power is put into perspective when Galactus returns in issue 74. It took a surprisingly large amount of time for him to be relevant again. I respect Marvel's restraint. It's basically just a rehash of his first arc though, with Silver Surfer finding Galactus on a non-Earth planet before being sent back to Earth so Galactus can use him in the future. It's an interesting status quo, one that lets Galactus be a non-threat while keeping Silver Surfer trapped on Earth and a regular recurring character. And we'll be seeing a lot more of Silver Surfer, but there is one other major development first. Namely the debut of an all-new cosmic hero, Captain Marvel, in his own debut issue, Marvel Superheroes number 12. This is an anthology, so it's not a solo book, but Captain Marvel is not a guest star to another hero. This is his story, and that's very notable. The actual story is that Captain Marvel is actually Captain Mar-Vell of the Kree Empire, and he has been sent to Earth to learn about his peoples and determine whether they are actually a threat after the FF beat Ronan. The only reason he's there by himself is that his colonel, Yon-Rogg, hopes that Mar-Vell dies so Yon-Rogg can steal his girlfriend, the medic Una. Mar-Vell ends up infiltrating Cape Canaveral as the rocket scientist Dr. Walt Lawson, since the real Dr. Lawson mysteriously died. As Mar-Vell gets to know the place, he finds that Cape Canaveral is hosting the body of the Kree sentry the FF beat, so Yon-Rogg reactivates it to try and destroy Mar-Vell. And that's how issue 13 ends, with issue 14 being a Spider-Man story. But Mar-Vell's tale doesn't end there, as he actually gets his own comic book series, Captain Marvel, in February of 1968. This is Marvel's first cosmic comic book, an ongoing series dedicated entirely to a character from outer space. The issue goes as expected, Mar-Vell stops the rampaging sentry so we can keep learning about Earth, but this is a big deal. Cosmic Marvel is real now, with its own heroes, not just a place for Fantastic Four villains to come from. Just a few months later, in May of 1968, Silver Surfer 2 would get his own comic book. The first issue establishes that he's trapped on Earth, but is mostly a flashback about how he became Galactus' herald. He lived on the idyllic planet of Zen-La with his girlfriend Shalabal, but felt stagnated due to lack of possible adventures. So when Galactus showed up, he sacrificed himself to become Galactus' herald, saving his planet and getting the adventure he always wanted. This feels like a real cosmic issue, taking place almost entirely on an alien world with people who aren't from Earth. It's true sci-fi fantasy. Captain Marvel and Silver Surfer will both run for about 20 issues, ending in the late 1960s, but I want to talk about them more in their own video. Marvel has 2 cosmic series running at the same time, and I want to take more time delving into the similarities and differences between the two, because they are not similar books. We almost got a third ongoing series with the debut of the Guardians of the Galaxy in Marvel Superheroes number 18, the book that debuted Captain Marvel. Set in the far future, the book sees a titular team of weird humans adapted to life on different planets come together to fight the invading alien Badoon. It's an interesting read, but this book just didn't take off, and it'd be a while before we see them again. The 60s are almost done, but before they go, Galactus comes back in Thor number 160 to finally make it to the Bioverse and fight Ego the Living Planet, paying off that one-panel tease from 25 issues ago. We also meet an entire fleet of refugees from planets Galactus has destroyed, showing the universal impact he truly has and expanding the stakes to beyond just Earth. The fight has some banger art, as Thor tries really hard not to let Galactus kill Ego. He ultimately stops Galactus, nearly killing him with the full power of his hammer. It helped that Galactus was starving, but still, that's very impressive for Thor. Imagine if he was unearthed under those two Fantastic Four arcs. It's the first time Galactus loses, and it won't be the last. Gods can only get so strong before the heroes need to stop them, and this is just the first time we'll see the Cosmic Guards start to waver in their omnipotence. 7 issues later, in Thor number 168, Thor is sent to find the origins of Galactus, and winds up being welcomed into Galactus' ship. Galactus explains to Thor that he's tired, and is the last survivor of a planet that was wiped out by a cosmic plague. Ultimately, Thor lets Galactus live, as it's clear now that Galactus isn't just a force of nature, but an actual character. Once he stopped being unstoppable, he had to be made 3-dimensional to keep being interesting. The Skrulls also come back, kidnapping the Thing to use in their gladiatorial arena. Also, these particular Skrulls are obsessed with Earth gangster culture, so they use their shapeshifting powers to look like mobs. It's basically a mobster arc with some interesting aliens in the ring, which is certainly one way to use the Skrulls. It doesn't make them more complex, but it is a sort of fun gimmick. And finally, in the summer of 1969, we get Fantastic Four number 98. They battle another Kree sentry, but this time it's trying to stop the moon landing to stifle human development. The issue isn't really about the fight, but about the moon landing, with Neil Armstrong even appearing at the end to give their famous quote. Yeah, the FF have been way farther than the moon, so this isn't a big leap in universe, but it's still treated as such because it's a celebration of a notable real-world event. It's one of my favorite issues because of this, just celebrating our real-life cosmic advancements. From here, the 70s look very different from the 60s, with a few key stories changing the trajectory of everything again. With the mild successes of Silver Surfer and Captain Marvel, things go even more cosmic, spearheaded by the truly grand Kree-Skrull War. I've been Raventry, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in Part 3.